Well, thanks a lot, Sam McKee, and welcome everybody to the Meadowlands racetrack here for the Thursday night. And we do have a bright young star from Ontario, Anthony MacDonald, who's been making a trip back and forth across the border for the past couple of weeks. Joined us in the Sulky. Thanks so much for joining us. Pretty cool here on the set at the Big M.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal looking around here. It's something else, you know when you're at the Meadowlands.
Absolutely. And Anthony, you've been around for now almost 12 years, and you actually got your start back in the day as a trainer and a driver. You were doing both, and you actually had a couple of $1 million seasons on both ends, right? So started off managing both.
Well, we had a good run there for a while, and in 2007 I was actually driving as much or more than I am now, and we had a stable in Ontario, and it grew really big. We got to like 65 horses. And it was just too much to handle. I was letting a lot of people do a lot of things in the barn that I should have been doing. I wasn't paying attention to business, and it wasn't hard to believe. And one day I came in and we got a positive test. One of the horses had been given something that he wasn't supposed to be given by accident, and it was my own fault. And it was a real eye opener. At that point, I had to make a choice: either drive or train, because when you're suspended, you can't do either. So. I went from having almost a couple of $1 million on both sides of the board to zero for 2 months, and I decided that I'd just be focusing on driving, and I'd let my younger brother start training whatever he had. He ended up keeping maybe 20 or 25.
Well, it may have been a tough thing for you at the time, but it's one of the things that paved the way for you being here right now, driving a couple in the Super Bowl. So in hindsight, maybe it's not so bad as it sounds. But, you've been racing at London, Flamborough, a little bit at Woodbine, here at the Meadowlands. That's a lot of miles to be putting on over the course of a week. What made you decide, I'm going to take my shot at the Big M here once we start the new season in January?
It was the craziest thing. My brother had these two trotters, and we'd missed the stakes, the winter stakes nominations for Woodbine. He didn't have the horses at the time, and I'd said to him, "Geez, I thought I overheard somebody talking that the Meadowlands had pushed back their stake dates." So we'd called down, and sure enough, it was 15 days later. The timing was perfect. We'd called down New Year's Eve in the morning and talked to Mr. Koch, and he said that they were eligible, they could race. So made a decision to send them down to Mark Ford, and I said, I'll come down and drive them. I never anticipated getting any drives. It's hard enough getting drives in London or Flamborough, let alone at the Meadowlands. So I flew down, and I had to meet with the judges when I got licensed, and he said if we get you any drives, would be interested. I said, yeah, I'd be interested. So sure enough, I looked the program tonight. I had 5 drives. I got 7 Friday and 2 on Saturday. It's crazy, man. It's something else.
So it started off just being 2 trotters that you were going to come drive for the Super Bowl, those 2 being Morvan and Mr. King. Now you end up with 14 drives in a weekend. That worked out pretty well. How about the process of how you get down here each week? You're coming from Canada. It sounds like a long drive, but you find better means of transportation.
Yeah, we take the aeroplane. Last week I flew out of Toronto. This week the flights were crazy in Toronto, so I flew out of Buffalo this afternoon. I had my fiancee Amy. She was running around all night finding flights, and anyway, here I am. So it just it's not a long flight, but it's still taxing. You got to get across the border and get to the airport, and it's a 5-hour process. So you're really only shaving off 3 hours of torture, really.
And you talk about your fiancé. You're going to be a dad next month too, so congratulations on that. That must be exciting.
It's awesome, man. Somebody asked me the other day, "What's the biggest thing ever happened to you?" And I said, "It's going to happen in a month." It's really sinking in now. I love racing horses, and I do anything for this game. But to have a kid, it's something else. I can't wait.
So you're driving at the Meadowlands, you have a kid on the way. Things are pretty good right now.
Yeah,
I'm Anthony MacDonald land.
Yeah, I'm going to buy some lottery tickets. Maybe I'll strike it rich.
Try Mega Millions and Powerball here. They're up over like $50, $90 million each. How about your consistency the last 5 years, Anthony? You finished between 1.7 and around $1.8 million each year. How do you just follow that consistency year in and year out? You're just firing away those same numbers. That's tough to do.
Well, I focus on mediocrity. It sounds like a lot, 1.8 million, but it's you look at the drivers in Ontario. I'm going to be fair and say 25th or 30th. And that might be wrong. I do my best. I grind it out. It's tough getting in. I can't seem to get in at Woodbine, and maybe I don't belong there. I don't know. It's tough. I just do my best, and I'm like a cab. You call me and I come. You put me down the drive, I'm going to be there.
How about the style of the driving when you compare like Woodbine, Mohawk here to the Meadowlands? Nick Drennan has said recently that he finds that there's a lot more movement down here, even though that the size of the tracks are pretty similar. Do you find it the same, that there's more movement in the races here at the Meadowlands?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and I didn't realize why, and a lot of people don't, I think, but when you get down here, you realize that the turn is right there, like on a half-mile track when you come out of the gate. So, you look at Woodbine, they let you go way down the stretch, and, a lot of people blast out of there, and they try to control the race like a half-mile track, getting into the first turn, and the race sets up that way. Whereas here, you can't really blast out. You can blast out a gate, I shouldn't say that, but it creates a lot more flow. A lot of people duck going into the turn, and then they're on the move earlier. They're letting somebody in that they want to follow. It's just different. It's different racing.
Different racing, and you're going to be in 5 of them tonight, Anthony. We're going to take a look at your 5 drives, and we're going to talk about an interesting event that happened last week when we get to your drive in the 7th race. Mr. King here, leaving out of post 5 in the 3rd race, one of the Super Bowl divisions, was 4th last week, was pretty heavily back there at 5-2. Raced okay to finish 4th, but you caught a monster in Ellen's Isle in that spot here. Now you catch another monster for Julie Miller and Dolce Ducci. You think he's going to get better here second start?
I can guarantee he's going to be closer to the front. The thing that raced last week, that thing's a freak. It run off, and it was pretty impressive. I looked at Andy pulling up. He's got the earplugs in. He's sitting on it. I mean, it's a freak. Dolce Ducci, I got to look at the race. I didn't watch it very closely, but it seems like it either wins or runs also, so it's going to be uphill also. Andy Fell does pretty good with trotters.
Not bad. Lucky Jim, you think about it. He's had some pretty good wins, and even Flamewalker, he brought in from Michigan to set a world record a few years back. But you certainly live here. You're 5-1. And Mark Ford, by the way, you sent them down to. How's that relationship going?
Mark's a cool guy. I'm good friends with him, and I think a lot of people are. He's real personable, and he does really, really well. And he keeps an eye on everything, so I think that they're definitely in the right place.
Let's flip ahead to the 4th race here. You have a first-time starter, and you better get this one right here, because this is Sam McKee's namesake, and he's calling the races, so he might be paying extra close attention to you as you steal McKee Largo here.
I mean, I don't know anything about the horse, to be honest. I mean, it's a first-time starter. It shows some good quarters, and has a good trainer in Mr. Belak, so I'm assuming he's going to want the horse raced conservatively and pacing hard on the end of it, and that's likely how it's going to come. I mean, if he gets drug up into the race, who knows? I mean, these are maidens. It's very hard to tell. So
we'll see. It'd be a nice price in there for anyone who wants to jump on board. In the 5th race here, BJ Sky here was driven by Dave Miller. Last time out in the white ruffles, left her position out of the 8-hole. You get some nice post-position improvement here for trainer Jeff Webster, and that's a good guy to be driving for. He's on fire to start the meet here. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's one thing to get drive somewhere. It's another thing to get power somewhere, and I'm very fortunate to be driving horses like this. I mean, he's 10-1 morning line, or she, but I mean, the inside 2 horses look like the best. But yeah, I didn't see this horse race last week, but it looks like it might have got some traffic trouble. It was bet down 6-1. It was on the front. I mean, Dave Miller put it in the right position, and it looks like it just maybe got some road problems. So hopefully we'll straighten that out. Maybe with the short price favorite on the inside, maybe a change in tactics, cover flow would be nice from here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Race 7 here, we're going to go to the 9 Morvan, and this is an interesting horse. You finished second beating the neck last time, and you actually had to survive an inquiry there where in the stretch it was alleged that you interfered with John Campbell. You came down along the pylons. They left your number up. You got beat by only a neck, but the funny part was it looked like you and John might have been talking a bit in the post parade the next thing. Can you share it all with us, what was said between you and John there in the post parade?
I don't remember what he said to me. I remember I was coming back. It was funny. I was joking with my buddies before I came down about an inquiry going up or something, and I was coming back past the tote board, and I saw the light flick, and I said, "Oh my God!" And I mean, I felt really stupid because I had no idea what it was for. I mean, when I slid to the inside, John had given me some room, and I didn't realize that he had gone through a pylon I knew he'd be tight to the pylons, but I didn't realize that he was in any danger. I mean, and when I slid through there, I had 2 feet, inside of his legs. It wasn't like it was really tight. So it was a situation where I think I would have liked to go to the outside, but the horse was biting the right line a little bit. So it opened up that way, and I slid through, and it worked out really well. We just needed this track's so short,
You're not used to it. Used to 7/8 at the start, right?
I just needed another 2 feet, I think.
And here tonight, you're out of the 9-hole. He was awfully good getting beat a neck last time by Alan Kareen. You avoid that one, and I'll tell you what, you catch maybe a weaker field here. You don't have Dolce Duce. You don't have Ellen's Isle in the spot. You drew the outside, which, unfortunately is not the best place to be, but should have speed to overcome it. You probably got a live shot here, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the way he raced last week, you're going to see a similar tactic. I mean, I'm going to try and go out of there cautiously with him and put him forwardly placed. And he raced very, very well last week. I expect if he comes back with the same type of situation, he should be close, yeah.
And should give you a great shot to make the final with this guy after being second last week, and he looks live again here in the second division. And then you're going to wrap it up with another bad post on the outside, Mad Impulse Hanover. I like this horse, Anthony. This horse has some go, could certainly finish his miles pretty well, making his third start at the Meadowlands. I think this one's going to continue to get better. I know the 10-hole is not where you want to be on a horse that necessarily doesn't have tremendous early speed, but I think you're going to find out that this guy can trot home pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it all depends on Al Kareen and Mr. The two-horse gets away. I mean, he made a break last week. I'm sure he's going to be a little cautious with him this week. And I mean, you get the 10-hole. I don't know where I'm going to land away until they say go, and I look left and see what's going on. I'm not going to know what I'm going to do. I mean, I could leave out of there if it's got any gate speed, or I could try to sit in the middle. I really don't know at this point. The horse has got lots of speed in the end of it, but with the only good thing is that Al Kareen doesn't show a lot of gate speed, so he's not going to have a chance to control the race and really put it on everyone. So I guess it just depends what kind of flow works out and how the horse seems at the gate.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing you hopefully in the final next week with Morvan. How about in the future? You're looking to continue driving here even after this series gets past us?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like I said, it's the Meadowlands. I mean, I'd love to come here. I'd love to race every week. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I mean, I do got a baby on the way. I got a fiancee, and I got a mortgage and a house in Canada. So, I mean, if it's possible, right now it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, fly down Thursday, fly back Sunday. I mean, it's not terribly taxing at this point. We'll see how the drives continue, and if people keep using me, and if I'm lucky enough to get some drives, then we'll see what happens. But, at this point, I'm just taking it all in. I'm very excited to be here and very excited to drive here, and very thankful for the drives I get.
Well, you certainly seem to be focused, and you certainly seem to have your mind on the matter at hand. We certainly hope that we get to see you in the future. Wish you the best of luck with Morvan tonight. Hope to get you in the final. Congratulations with the baby on the way.
Thank you very, very much.
Anthony MacDonald, everybody. We hopefully will see a lot more of him as the meet goes on. Back with Hollywood Hayden as we'll give out the weekly hardware. Hopefully you'll be a driver of the week in the near future, Anthony.